Hello everyone, we're back. This is Bunny Says, and we're here with our game Cinderella Phenomenon. It's a quiet evening for me, and it's a little sad. But, and some other things, but I like coming here and playing this. This makes me feel a lot happier, so I thought I'd get it in another episode, maybe a couple. So I enjoy this. This is my time. This is my quiet time. So, and I'm really beginning to enjoy Rumple's story. The last thing we knew was that Rumple met his fiancée there, and we found out that she was cheating on him with some nobleman. And there's something more to it going on than that. Maybe she had a reason, or maybe she was just sick of something about him, or angry about something about him, and she ran off and started cheating on him. But apparently he was waiting for her to say something, to speak to her openly and honestly, to speak to him openly and honestly. And he knew about it, but something happened, I guess. The curse happened, and they never got around to it, I guess, or it never concluded or came to any kind of conclusion. So he found out what was going on, and we had a part. Well, we jumped up and said something when we were caught spying on them in the plaza. Bria in Rumple. So we came back to the Marchen, to the common place to meet Parfait, because she asked us to meet her to speak with us about our curse, something to do with our curse. So let's get into it, and let's just see what's going on. So Parfait is here. She's sitting down and she's waiting, and she says, "Oh, princess, you're here. Sorry, we're late." "Ah, Delora's here. My, the princess is gracing us with her presence." Parfait said a few days ago that she had something to discuss with me. So I am here. Then let's get right into it, shall we? She plops down on one of the chairs, and Parfait sits down gracefully beside her. "Princess, the other day you asked me about my responsibility, and briefly about the Tenenbaum bearer." "I did, but what does this have to do with me?" "It has everything to do with you, because when it comes to that second inquiry, the answer is right here." Delora points at me. I stare at her, not comprehending. "Well, that's funny. I thought the Tenenbaum bearer would be Delora." "Oh, that's right. Oh, God, that's right. The mother was probably trying to set her up to be the new bearer. Oh, yeah. Wow, okay. All right. Princess, the bearer to the Crystallum Tenebrum is you." "What?" I am not able to even feel shock, just confusion. "But how do I have anything to do with these crystals?" "See, I told you she'd be confused." It's because we started backwards. I'm so sorry, Princess. I do not understand. Remember the story about the crystals, Princess? For a time, the crystals were in complete balance. Even the witches who drew on negative energy were respected. Then one day, Hans wrote the fairy tales. Witches were suddenly painted as villains. Humans attacked the witches, trying to drive them out. Their leader, who just so happened to be my best friend, was hard-pressed to try to keep the peace. She was the original bearer of the crystal. But as witches were killed and thrown out, she found her patience wearing thin. She killed a human, the ultimate taboo, and there was nothing we could do but try to stop her. This bearer, the leader of the witches, and the bearer of the Crystallum Tenebrarum, is someone you know, or someone you knew. Delora. She erased all of your memories, made you think that the fairy tales were evil, that humans were terrible. I feel something dark stirring inside of me. A sharp pain cuts through my heart, making it hard to breathe. The previous bearer of the crystal was your mother, Princess. Hilda, the leader of the witches. That is impossible. Mother was not a witch. But she was, the strongest of us all. When she died, she kept some of her power sealed within the crystal, which is why it still allows the fairy tale curse to spread. What kind of lie is this? I cannot use magic, and Mother never told me she was a witch. She would have told me. It sounds like it, doesn't it? But I assure you, Princess, we would never lie to you about something like this. As impossible as it seems, you are a witch. Your power won't manifest until you're 18, and at that time, you will inherit control of the crystal. Since your birthday is soon, this was the last chance we had to teach you goodness. Your mother's been shielding you from it for so long. We trusted you were different from her. And you are. But Mother was the only one that ever loved me. She stole away your memories and made you hate the world. Parfait is speaking. Delora. She was fostering hatred in you, making you just like her. You do not know anything about Mother. I stand up, rage going up inside me like a snake. Parfait. Lucette, I know a lot about her. More than you will ever know. No. The truth is hard, Princess, but eventually we all have to face it. Hilda was my beloved friend. Facing her was the hardest thing I have ever done. We only want to help you. We are not very good at it. I turn on my heels and storm out of the room. They both look so shocked. Well, that was interesting. I guess Parfait. Well, I guess Parfait was Lucette's mother's best friend. I mean, really. So that's rather surprising. I feel that there was more to what Delora and Parfait wanted to say to me, but I cannot stand to hear it right now. It's not surprising. walk into the clearing and sit against a tree. We're out in the forest here now. Furiously rubbing at my eyes as I try to clear my dangerously watery eyes. Showing emotion is weak. I sit there for a long time in the clearing trying to calm myself. My thoughts spin wildly out of control. Oh, Rumple is here. Princess? I see him out of the corner of my eyes, standing between two trees, his eyebrows knit together with worry. What, you were listening? Listening? No, I just came to look for you in your room. And when I came downstairs, Buffet told me you had run out into the forest. May I sit next to you? I say nothing as he walks over to me. He sits down beside me, his hands resting on his knees as he looks up at the canopies of the trees. Thank you for today, Princess, for coming after me and trying to make things right. I'm not in the mood to talk about this right now. My thoughts are too scrambled. Sometimes, truths are hard. How do you know it was the truth? A feeling. Trusting people is hard sometimes. I understand. He looks at me, and his eyes seem to glimmer softly in the moonlight. Would you like someone to listen to your problems, Princess? I could talk to him, or remain silent. I want to talk to him. I want to talk to him. I mean, he is a very good listener, so yeah, I'm going to talk to him. I rub at my eyes as Rumple looks at me with a quiet smile. He could be talking about his own problems, but instead, he's trying to comfort me. Buffet and Delora told me about something they were keeping hidden from me. They told me something about Mother. And it does not make any sense to me, because everything that they are saying makes her a villain. Even villains are often misunderstood. I have trying circumstances. Rumple slowly reaches out to rest his hand on top of mine. I sit up straight and stare at him, my eyes wide. Rumple smiles at me, a slow, soft smile that crinkles the edges of his eyes. Seeing such a beautiful lady close to tears makes my heart break. You know. But if you ever need to cry, you should. Tears aren't weakness. They're just a form of expression. And even the strongest of us cry. I'm not going to cry. My mind reels and then starts to feel fuzzy. Definitely the Ice Princess. The title startles me out of my thoughts. I stare at him pointedly, beginning to grimace, but Rumple just smiles. I always thought it was a delicate name, suitable for a strong and beautiful woman. Seeing you like this, it makes me realize that the name suits you. Perhaps if everyone else meant it that way, it would not be so terrible a title. Rumple slowly takes his hand away and smiles, though he insists on hearing me out. I insist on the opposite. For now, I want to keep what I discussed with Parfait and Delora to myself. I still need time to process it. For tonight, I just want to forget that the conversation ever happened. For some time the two of us are silent. There are no words exchanged between the two of us, but the silence is comfortable. Then eventually Rumple puts a hand on my shoulder. Things will work out, Princess. I hope so. I stand and excuse myself. Good night, Rumple. I turn and walk away. Good night, my sweet princess. Chapter 7. Muddled Truths. Now we're in the tavern again. Here's Rumple. And he looks like he might be back to his old self. And you, my little sunflower, are just as radiant as always. Some woman. Oh my, Rumple. It's like that whole thing with Bria never happened. This is Lucette thinking, no. He's back to flattering every woman he meets. Karma. Overthinking again, princess? I turn to see Karma grinning at me from where he sits at the table. Surprisingly, he is sitting with Jurian and Garland today, who are arguing about some kind of knight's dance. It's none of your business. No, it's not. But you have such a sad look on your face, I had to ask. I'd appreciate you not staring at my face. I don't need to stare to see that you're in distress. I turn on my heels and begin to walk away, irritated. Even when I am among other people, it is impossible to forget the conversation I had with Parfait and Delora. It hovers at the back of my mind constantly. We have not spoken again since then, yet even now, I am still taking in what they told me before. My mother, the Tenenbaum bearer, and me. A witch. The reason others have always feared me is because of my blood. I suppress a sigh as I attempt to return to my work. As the days go by, I notice myself becoming more and more agitated. Half of it is the recent history lesson, and the other half is Rumpel's flirting with other women. No. Lucette. We're back at the tavern again. Lucette. How can he just snap his fingers and get over Bria so quickly? If he flatters every woman, does that mean he does not really mean the things he says to me? I gather the plates off the counter, put them on a tray and take them to customers. Today, everything feels mechanical. For the last few days, I have been noticing that I walk more stiffly, and that if I walk too quickly, my vision blurs. What, really? Probably because of my overthinking. I don't think so. You don't overthink and then suddenly your vision blurs. I don't think that happens like that. I don't think it works like that. I stumble as I bring a tray to a familiar customer. The man looks up at me and asks if I am okay. I murmur that I am before walking off. Excuse me. The blurriness comes back. What is wrong with me? I look over at Rumple, who is at the table with two girls because the shift is over. Rather than boil over on the inside, I feel myself getting warmer on the outside. My skin feels clammy. I have to force myself to take a breath as I get the next round of orders. My last order for the day is for one of the girls at Rumpel's table. I don't want to go over there. I start carrying the tray toward the table, biting down on my lip as the sway comes back into my step. As I draw closer, I notice Rumple and the girls laughing about something. I grit my teeth and pause in front of them to lay down the tray. Woman A: this isn't mine, it's my friend's. Woman B: yes, I was the one who ordered the soup. The two stare at me. Instead of handing the soup off, they wait for me to move the bowl. But before I can reach over and move it, Rumple slides it over to the other girl himself. For a few moments, there is a fragment of a scowl on his face. How are you doing today, my sweet princess? When I think about speaking, the words catch feebly in my throat. I turn to walk off. Princess? Woman A: still as cold as ice. Woman B: the title Ice Princess definitely suits her. How could you dote on her, Rumple? Despite the numbness on my mind, I still feel angry. I turn around so quickly that I make myself stumble. I feel myself teetering, on the edge of falling, but something stops me. Warm hands reach out to grab mine before I can fall. Through my dizziness, I can see Rumple standing in front of me. Princess, look at me. He puts a hand under my chin and angles my head so I can see him better. The expression on his face is suddenly serious. He looks at me for a few moments before he places a hand on my forehead. Princess, you have a fever. Really high fever, actually. You should go back to your room and rest. I'll drop by with some medication in a few minutes after I say goodbye to these ladies. I'm fine. My voice comes out hoarse. Trying to clear my throat only makes me feel more miserable. Princess, you're not fine. You look like you're about to collapse. I will not collapse. I am stronger than that. Mother taught me how to be strong. Mother. My thoughts become scrambled. Once again my mind wanders, but this time I cannot keep myself steady as I try to walk away. Putting one foot in front of the other proves to be too difficult, and I once again feel myself start to stumble. Then I feel warmth, this time arms instead of hands. Rumple, sweet little princess, what am I going to do with you? Oh, that's a pretty picture. Rumple picked her up and he's carrying her. Before I can understand what is happening, I am lifted off my feet. I feel an arm supporting my back, and another supporting me beneath the crook of my knees. Warmth. Such a nice warmth. You really are stubborn, aren't you, Princess Lucette? I guess I'll just have to carry you up myself. I could either struggle or lean against him. Well, I'm sick, so. And didn't he give us a lesson in trying and saying that we should let people baby us and be good to us? So, and plus, seriously, she's sick, so I wouldn't see why she would lean against him. Why would she struggle? I don't understand that. So she's going to lean against him. My body is so weak anyway. Even if I wanted to struggle, I would not be able to. I slowly lean my head against his chest. Princess, you can see that you need help? No. Still so stubborn. There is indistinctive murmurings behind him that probably belongs to the girls. Rumple responds to them in a low voice. Stubborn she may be, but my sweet princess is stronger than any other woman I've ever known. Lucette, so warm. Ah, but not as warm as you are right now, princess. His voice slowly begins to fade out as I close my eyes. For the time being, I start caring about everything else around me. I forget about Mother, about my talk with Delora and Parfait, about the crystal, the Machen, and I focus on Rumple. Is it so selfish to want to be the only person held like this by him? Even when he was engaged to someone before? Slumber slowly reaches up to claim me, darkness intermingling with warmth. In that last moment, I think I see Rumple smile at me. Oh. Cute picture of his little... Okay, I guess it's a flashback here because we're looking at young Lucette and her mother. And there's a cute picture of a princess and I guess a prince. They both have little crowns on them. It's a little drawing, a little pencil drawing. And this is young Lucette talking. Mother, I have to tell you about the fairy tale that the children read to me today. Lucette, what did I tell you about fairy tales? But there was a princess just like me. She found a Prince Charming and... Fairy tales are not real. But they make really good stories, Mother. They are false stories. Do you really think it would be so easy to live happily ever after? No, but... Fairy tales make things black and white. Real life is full of grays. Black and white? Good and evil. No one is totally evil, and no one is totally good. Even princes are not completely just. So princes and princesses can be bad. Lucette, everyone has darkness to them. The princes that throw themselves into danger are not selfless. They seek wealth, fame, or power. You see, fairy tales are lies because no one is so selfless and so full of love. People are two-faced. Trust no one. Yes, Mother. No one will love you like I do. To find pure love like that is impossible. Wow, that was pretty harsh there. That sort of... I just want to say one thing. I'm going to stop the file here in a minute, but that reminds... This sort of reminds me of I think there was a play. It might have been a musical. And it was specifically about like fairy tales and like what happened like afterwards and stuff. Like what happened when like after the happily ever. It might have been called happily ever after. But it was like there were different stories about like what happens after Prince Charming meets Cinderella, and suddenly they're married and they're trying to get on with their life and do everyday things and everything. I can't remember what that was. That came out a while ago. I saw that on it was on stage, and I remember it. Anyway, it just reminded me of this story. How fairy tales, even though they do sort of have two sides to them. There's that sort of real life side to them and the fairy tale side to them. And I guess in a way you have to take them the way they are. Because otherwise, if you try to throw real life into them, it just destroys them, and it makes them look really bad. Anyway, there's something to think about for a moment. If Lucette's mother was the Tenenbaum bearer, then now that crystal spoke. Now, as long as there was balance going on, she would have been all right with that crystal. She could keep control of herself and stuff. And I'm wondering, the more I get on with the story, the more I'm wondering if, because at that point, the witches were being hunted. So I'm wondering if she, got angry and tried to do something and was trying to protect herself. And I'm wondering how evil she actually was. I mean, now the crystal, when not in balance, keeps making it worse for her, right? I mean, that's the idea, the impression that I got. When it's out of balance, it becomes more and more powerful and makes it worse and worse for the person. So it compounds any kind of, like, if she was feeling angry or mad or upset or anything, which she would be if witches were being hunted, then the crystal compounds it, makes it worse. That's the impression I got. So how evil was she really? The mother. I mean, was she always like that, or did she become worse and worse because the crystal fed on her emotions and amplified them? Or did she feed the crystal? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Well, anyway, it's something to think about. And we'll close out this file. And I want to say thank you for sticking with me through this. I'm really enjoying this, and I hope you are too. So please like and subscribe if you're enjoying it, and I hope that you are. And stay safe, and I'll see you again soon. So, goodbye.